Okay, everyone, today I chose to discuss DK Metcalf's combine, NFL combine results, where he came in at only 1.6% body fat. That is shredded, okay? And so I'm basically going to answer the question, is this possible? And if so, what's going on? And to answer questions about body fat testing. Just so you know, I have an exercise physiology degree and I've been testing body fat percentages for over 20 years. I've done hundreds, maybe thousands of people. Okay, so I'm gonna get right to it. So in the NFL Combine, they use a bod pod. Okay, so it's very similar to when you do underwater weighing. So basically that's where you sit in a tank of water. It measures how much your body displaces the water. And then they use measurements and equations to determine your percentage of body fat based on what they believe or know you would have for lean body mass versus fat-free mass. Because the body's gonna be either fat or not fat. So fat is a certain density. It's roughly 0.9 versus 1 would be like water. That's why fat floats. So if you're obese, you're going to have an easier time swimming. And if you're shredded and ripped and all full of muscle, it has a density of around 1.1, which sinks because obviously it's heavier than water. It's like metal. If you throw a rock or metal or lead into the water, the density is so high it sinks. So the bod pod does this with air. And so you go in the machine, air displaces, they measure pressure, and it comes up with a formula, estimates your body fat. So that's right, estimates your body fat. It's not 100% accurate. Why is it not 100% accurate? Well, I mean, they've been doing this for years. Because it's an estimate of bone density, lean density of your body, okay? For example, if you are black, you have, on average, more dense bones than if you're white. So if you're doing a formula and you're black and you go and do this test versus white, chances are you're going to have a lower percentage of body fat. Okay, I'll just give you an example. Ronnie Coleman on the Jay Leno show, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, he was telling us how he got body fat tested. They want to know how lean he is because, I mean, he's shredded. He came in at negative 0.33% body fat. Negative, as in below zero. It's not accurate. How inaccurate can the test be? Up to 5% inaccurate, okay? You could be 5% leaner. You could be 5% fatter, all right? So he came in at 1.6%. So it's possible maybe that he was 6.6%. Could have been 5.6, 4.6. Maybe he was even leaner. Maybe he was 0.6. Maybe he was negative 2. I mean, really, obviously you can't go below zero. Now, 1.6% body fat is impossible. As in, it is physically impossible to get to 1.6%. You could die trying and you wouldn't get there. So you take a huge bodybuilder, say Ronnie Coleman, at his prime, almost 300 pounds and shredded. And if he said, I want to be 1.6%, and he kept dieting and dieting and dieting, he would become 250 pounds, 210 pounds, 150 pounds, and he still wouldn't get to 1.6% body fat because it's physically impossible. He would die trying. The body cannot get that lean. 0% chance that it could. There's fat inside your body. It's not just pinching fat and you have fat right here. You see? Fat here. There's fat inside. You can't see it. It's in my body. It's doing things to make me live. You need fat to live. Okay? You need fat to absorb certain vitamins, fat-soluble vitamins, for example, A, D, and K. So you need some fat. When you get too lean, things start screwing up in your body. You get injured more. You have lower testosterone. Cortisol levels go up. Brain fog. You can't even think. It's like when you diet for a bodybuilding show, it's not good. And if you think you can get shredded and still perform at an elite level, no. Ask a bodybuilder on show day to run the 40-yard dash as fast as they can, and you'll see what they tell you. They have a hard time posing for a minute. Come on, it's not possible. Okay? Just to give you an idea, I showed a picture of my calves in that video on the whatever. I did a thumbnail. Those are my calves, okay? And that was a week before my show when I was at 4% body fat. That's to show you how lean you have to be like 3% is as low as you can go. So I was about as lean as I could get. Couldn't really get much leaner. If you keep dieting, I would just lose muscle, okay? So that's to give you an example. If I had to guess, I would say he's 5-6% body fat. He's pretty ripped, and he's a freak of nature. He's so fast, 4.32 or 3, something, 40 and over 40-inch vertical jump. Freak, bench press strong. Like, he's great, but he's not 1.6% body fat. It's just stupid and ignorant to think that that's even possible. And while we're on this topic, you are not below 10% body fat if you're a bikini competitor. Just shut up. Shut up. I'm sick of this stuff. I see it all the time. Oh, I'm 6% body fat. Look at me in my bikini. I have abs now. 6%. They just don't understand. The tests are so inaccurate sometimes, and it's not really their fault. But then you try to make a comment and explain to them about body fat. They don't get it. 6% on a woman doesn't happen, okay? Miss Olympia shredded women's physique, peeled, cross-strided. They're the girls that are under 10%, not the bikini models. Come on, you're not under 10%. Athletes, high performance, usually come in 8 to 12. That's a range where your testosterone levels are going to be normal. You can perform at a high level and not have like increased risk of injury and just overall feeling like shit, okay? So to give you an idea, I'm around 9% right now, and I'm pretty lean. Like if you saw me at the gym or something, you'd be like, oh yeah, that dude, man, he's pretty ripped type thing. A lot of NFL football players are way over 12%. I mean, the average, I think, is 14% or something like that. I forget the exact stats on that, but when you get below 8%, you are rocking. You're like ripped. A lot of men's physique competitors that are like, on stage competing don't even get below 8%. They look great. They have the six-pack on the beach. They're not below 8%. Okay, 15% is about an ideal kind of body fat for health for a man. So lower than that, it can start screwing you up. Okay, you don't want to be too lean. And you'll know when you're too lean because your energy goes down, you feel like shit, your strength goes down, and you just can't perform anymore. So athletes have to have some fat. 1.6, impossible. DK, Metcalf, freak and ripped, but not 1.6. Hopefully that makes sense, and peace.